Hey everybody, welcome to week 8. It is the mid-semester point and you have all made it. Good for you. Let's see what we have in store for this week. All right, so here's our course schedule, which of course you are all printing and keeping track of what you need to do as the week progresses, right? So hopefully you've printed that out and you can follow along with me. I just want to let you know that next week is spring break, so you will see that we have kind of a lighter week this week because we're finishing up our last unit, articulating the main idea. So on Monday, what we're going to be doing is you will be completing the practice test. I would like every single one of you to complete the practice test on Monday. There's no assignment folder for this, so you will not be handing it in, but it needs to be done before class time on Tuesday. Because on Tuesday, you are going to attend class, and we are going to go over the practice test in a very specific, systematic way. So I am going to go back to week 8, and I know that this is kind of messy here for a second, but hold on. In week 8, I have this web page here that I would like you to take a look at. This is something that is in content for you already, but you will see that the directions for taking the practice test are right here, and I'm going to go over them with you right now because it's so important that you follow this procedure, okay? So this procedure is: do not use your notes or the textbook or anything to help you with the practice test at first. You will not have this help when you're taking the regular test because remember, there's no notes on the test. You are supposed to take it all by yourself without any of your notes and without Googling anything, without doing anything. Just like when you'd come into class and sit down, you would sit down and I would say put everything in your backpack and everything would be in your backpack and you would take the test. That's how I'm expecting you to take these tests. Okay? So don't use any of your notes or anything. Preview the entire test. And remember, when we're saying preview, we are meaning look through everything without reading it all, right? Look at text features, get a gist for what's being asked. You're not going to read the selections of text that I have selected for you, but you're going to probably skim over all the questions, okay? As you're previewing this test, you're going to mark the questions you don't know as you go through your preview. So as you're just reading the questions, you're going to be like, yeah, I don't know that one. Yep, I know this one. I know this one. I know this one. I don't know that one, right? So you're going to mark the ones you don't know. Then you're going to go back to the beginning and you're going to take the test. You're going to do the test. Once you get into it, if you get to a place where you don't know what to do, you're going to mark those questions as well. So what you're marking on your test, and I would like have some sort of a signal to yourself, like a star, or circle the question and a star, make it really obvious which questions or which parts of the questions you don't understand. Okay, so you're going to be marking anything else that you figure out that you don't understand as you're taking the test. Still not using any notes. You're just doing the best you can, taking the test just like you would on a regular test. Okay, then once you're all done with the practice test and you're like, wow, there were some things I really didn't know, or wow, I did really great on this part, but this part I could use some work. Then you're going to go to your notes. You're going to look at any notes you took in your reading notebook. You're going to look at any PowerPoints that you have access to that I gave you, which includes VoiceThread PowerPoints, right? And you're going to go back and you're going to try and figure out any questions that you didn't know. And you are also going to check on the answers that you did think you knew. Like if you think you knew something, you're going to be like, I know how to define reading for sure, done it. I want you to check on yourself and make sure that your answer is correct. So you're going to go find the answer in your notes, okay? Make sure you did all of those questions correctly and you have it all right. and the ones that you didn't understand, go and try and figure it out now with your notes. Okay? Then you're going to come to class on Tuesday, and you're going to still have marked the ones that you still can't figure out. Okay? Then we're going to figure those out. So you should have a really good working knowledge of how this test works by the time we're done with class on Tuesday. Because then on Wednesday, you will be doing the actual test, test 2. And let me remind you, this is not an open note test. This is a test that you are taking alone with your brain, and that's it. Okay, so make sure you have your brain, and just remember that this test is open for 2 hours. Once you start the test, the timer starts at 2 hours, and you have 2 hours to finish the test. Once those 2 hours are up, the test will close and you will no longer have access to it. So before you start the test, before you begin, make sure you have a nice 2-hour block of time that no one is going to bother you. Okay? Make sure that you have a quiet place. Make sure you tell the people at your house, if that's where you're taking the test, that you are taking a test and you are going to close your door. And for the next 2 hours, you are off limits to people. Okay? And take your test in a quiet place where you can concentrate. All right? Then, on Thursday, your test is due before 11:30 p.m. So, again, you're only having 2 hours. You can't start the test at 11:30 p.m. because it will close at 11:30 p.m. So, the latest possible time that you should be starting to take this test is 9:30 on Thursday night. Otherwise, you're going to run out of time. Okay, so you're going to have on Wednesday from 8 a.m. until Thursday at 11:30 p.m. or really 9:30 p.m. to take this test and finish it. Okay, and then I don't have anything for you on Friday, and then next week is spring break. So you will have a really nice break before we start up again in week 9 in March. Okay? I think March 15th is the next time we come back to school, and so you will be able to start on week 9 then. Also, during your spring break, one thing that I want you to think about is find your Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie book. We will be beginning that after spring break. So just make sure to have that handy and you know where it is and you put it with your textbook and your reading notebook. Wherever you're going to stash those over spring break, make sure that the Absolutely True Story of a Part-Time Indian makes it into that pile so you have it handy for when we begin that after spring break. Okay? All right, so that is our week, only really talking about test 2 this week. So it's a light week for you. I mean, it's a test, so it's not really, so you should be studying, but you know, there's no added homework. So that's good. I will look forward to seeing all of you in class on Tuesday, and I do expect you to have that practice test ready to go. So we will be ready to work with it in class. Have a great week, everybody.